Hey, 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 y'all. What's up? What's up? How is everybody tonight? Hope all is well. Hope you guys are having a great day. I am. Today has been a really good day. Really, really good day. Hey, hey, hey. Let's get our guests on the line.
I'm not sure if you can see me, Rose.
Hey, LaQuinta, I can see you. You're sideways.
Okay.
There.
Now, okay. Ooh. Hey,
How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. How about you?
I am good. Good, good, good. I have no complaints. No complaints. No complaints. Super,
Good.
super
How's
excited
it
for
been since
tonight.
that last theme?
Oh, it's been great as always. I do need
Good.
to book with you because it's about that time
It is.
for me to book. What's going on? Can you see me?
No, not right now. You're blacked out.
Okay, there we go. I don't know what just happened. Yes, I'm super, super, super excited. Let's get some people on here.
Right.
How was your day? What's been going on with you?
Good. I wasn't working today. I had to go to the hospital yesterday. Apparently it's simple as muscle spasms. So I'm just taking medicine for muscle spasms that has me super, super drowsy.
Wow. I
Yeah.
literally just had my daughter in the hospital not too long ago. She had something that's called like abdominal migraines. So I never knew that was a thing,
Right.
but apparently it is. And it's pretty much like how we get headaches. Kids can get like migraines in their stomachs. And I never knew that.
I didn't know that either. That
Yeah.
sounds like something so made up, like a stomach migraine.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Because at first I was thinking like maybe it's her appendix or like, something major, but turned out to be abdominal migraines.
Okay.
I
I
didn't
heard
know
of,
that was a thing.
yeah, me either. I heard of the ocular migraines where people get it centered in their eyes,
Hmm.
but never heard of abdominal ones because I suffer from migraines too, so I get it.
Yeah, so apparently it's the same thing. You get it in but kids get it in their stomachs. So when it
Okay.
causes their stomach to hurt.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
okay,
How's
this
she
is good.
doing? How's little mama? She's better now?
Yeah, she's feeling so much better. It's been I haven't slept in really in days. Like my life has been so draining. But
Uh,
we are here. So super, super, super excited for tonight. So
hey everyone.
while we got everybody coming in. So
Hey
tonight we're
Vicky.
going to be talking about pretty much like, well, for those of you who don't know, this is LaQuinta. She has been a guest here before. She is the one of the owners of Her Sacred Place. And LaQuinta, tell the people who don't know you um, what Her Sacred Place is.
Sure. Her Sacred Place is a women's spa here in Columbia, South Carolina. We specialize in vaginal steaming and helping women who deal with all kind of womb issues through the art of vaginal steaming. So that's our primary focus is feminine wellness and health. I basically, majority of my clients come in not necessarily for any recreational purpose, but they may be suffering from extreme fibroids, endometriosis problems, cyst problems, just kind of wound problems in general. And they're not interested in the surgical or traditional medicine route. And so they come to me for alternative medicine or they consult with me through an alternative medicine route. And we help get them on a nutrition plan and a steaming plan to help them deal with what kind of vaginal issues that they have going on. Outside of that, we also have a feminine hygiene product line. So for my women who deal with vaginal odor, we have something for them. We have some washes that women can use down there that are formulated to not throw your pH off. We have oils, we have bath bombs, we have all kind of things in our feminine product line that can also help with women. Right now, we are in the process of expanding that line and rebranding it. So be on the lookout for that. But that's a little bit about Her Sacred Place.
Yay, yay, yay. That is super, 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 super exciting. I can't wait for your products to come out. You guys, I've been using the Yoni Wash. I love, 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 love it. Love, love, love it, right? I haven't used anything else since. So,
It's good stuff. And I
yeah.
also want to point out that our washes, when we were developing our products, I wanted to partner with another small Black-owned business owner to preferably female to help develop our products because I don't make our products in-house ourselves, but she does, and she's in the chat also. I see that she came on here. So hi, Vicky. So I partner with her. She is Shop Ice Body out of California, but she hand makes every product. So I know one of the big things going on right now in social media is the whole honey pot
I was going to
thing.
ask you about that. I was going to ask you about that because, so many people use the products, right? And for so long, Honey Pot has been like one of the top rated, like Yoni products. And people talk about it, they love it, they crave it, and they just talk so highly of it. Now, recently, they've been having this thing going on where apparently, like, they changed some of their products or something and added and made it more chemical or what? What's going on
Well,
with that?
I've been following it. I've been following that since I am in a feminine health and feminine hygiene care company. I mean, in the feminine hygiene space, I should say. I've been following it, and it's not that she necessarily, when you get your products into these big stores like Walmarts and the Targets and the things like that, these people are ordering hundreds of thousands at a time. And they have to have shelf life. Before you use that product, it may have been sitting in a warehouse for 3 or 5 years, you know? And so they have to put these preservatives and put these chemicals in it to give it a longer shelf life. At this point in time, they're not small batched. It could have been made 3 years ago, like I said. And so I get kind of why they added some of these things because it's to increase their shelf life. But at the same time, if we are touting ourselves as a chemical free company, it kind of hinders us in a way because we won't be able to get in those big stores because we don't want to add chemicals to our products. And so I order stuff in small batches so you know that your order hasn't been made 6 months or a year or 3 years ago because you can't hold it that long. So I get her standpoint, or the company. I shouldn't say her. And this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to get sued over here.
Right, right.
But so I get their standpoint as a company to have these added ingredients to basically increase the shelf life on their products so that they can stay in these big box companies. But at the same time, it has taken away from the fact that it was a Black-owned brand who specialized in products for our sacred place that were chemical free. So, but if you buy over here at Her Sacred Place, we don't have many. Our product list is very, very minimum. Like in our feminine wash right here, our feminine wash, I'm not sure if you can see that we basically have less than 10 ingredients in it, chemical free and everything like that.
And from my understanding, it's always better to get things that have less ingredients because if it has less ingredients, it's typically more better for you. Is
Mm-hmm.
that true?
Yeah, because once you get to it, sometimes, when you're reading an ingredient list, typically the way that it's labeled, I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but it starts from the first thing you see is the most ingredients, and then it goes down to the least. So you're reading it as into that if the first ingredient is high fructose corn syrup, it's loaded with sugar because that's the main ingredient. And then as you go down, it's labeled into those that are less less of that ingredient is found in that product. But like Vicky said in the chat, it is good to have some, you must have some preservatives in there and everything. And all chemicals aren't not bad, but there are some natural preservatives in there. But I just feel like with that whole situation, it's become a big company now at this point, and they had to change up a lot. And she doesn't, she's sold some of it, so things have changed with that company. And they have added some things in it, like people just are like, okay, I don't want to use that product for my sake. I don't want to use that in my sacred place because I know, or I can Google that product is not good for things down there.
And that's what we're talking about tonight, right? We're talking about what is safe. So it all just kind of brought us back here. What is safe to use
Right,
down there and what's not, right? Because
right.
I know a lot of females are always questioning or always trying to figure out what's the best thing for them to use. And some people will say, oh, don't use anything down there, just use water. Some people will say use mild soap. Some people will say just make sure it's not scented. So what are your thoughts on that, with you being in the industry, and what information can you give us about the best products to use there?
I don't necessarily recommend any products in general. Of course, I would encourage you to use Her Sacred Place products, but I say find what works for you. If you have used a particular brand and you're not thrown off by it or it's not interfering with your pH, then I say use that. However, I always tell my clients, because there are the big names, like when you think of feminine hygiene, you think of Summer's Eve, you think of Honey Pot. Hopefully you are thinking of Her Sacred Place and things like that. But I always tell clients, if you are using feminine hygiene products because you have odor, you have a problem. Like, you shouldn't go in there and say, well, I'm using Summer's Eve to help with my vaginal odor.
Mm.
That's not helping your odor if you're using the products or whatever. We need to get to the root of the problem of what's causing that vaginal imbalance and having you with that odor. But there are some, not brands or products I like you to stay away from. It's just more like the chemicals, just from a female hygiene standpoint. Like, I know a lot of people like that very, very lathering. Like, oh, I want my body wash to be full of foam and everything. Well, typically one of the biggest chemicals that is very, very foamy are sulfates. So that's why a lot of times we'll see on certain products, it'll say sulfate free, paraben free, chemical free, things like that, because the sulfates helps it lather better. But when it comes to those sulfates or excessive sulfate use, it can lead to vaginal problems, such as you'll start getting vaginal odor, suffer from vaginal dryness, you'll get vaginal irritations and things like that. I also caution everybody to stay away from any product that says scented. Like, if it says lavender scented, rose scented, like, our sacred place isn't supposed to, I don't know if people don't know this, but it isn't supposed to smell like roses and flowers, or all these things. When you watch these Calgon videos and they're like, take me away to this island, I'm all fresh and things like that. We shouldn't have a malodor. We shouldn't have an odor, but we all, depending on our diet, what we eat and things like that, do have our unique scent. But it shouldn't be like odor. There's a difference from your scent. That's why you can wear a perfume and I could wear a perfume and it will smell different on me than it smells on you. Just because our own body chemistry makes the scent smells differently. But it shouldn't be like an odor or anything like that. So I don't like to personally say, well, I prefer this brand over this brand or try this brand. But look at the products. Look at what you're using down there. Look at what you're using for your sacred place. And if it works for you, continue to use it. But I would recommend that people use all natural, chemical free products, not just down there, but for skincare in general. Like, a lot of people talk to me. I purposely didn't wear makeup tonight because I did on the last one. And a lot of people are like, well, what do you use on your skin? I'm like, I just use a facial cleanser and I use Her Sacred Place Yoni oil. Like, it helps with hyperpigmentation and everything. So even though it's formulated for your sacred place, my clients were the ones who put me onto it. And they're like, I use it for my oil. I use it for my face to help my skin tone. So I just put that oil on my face twice a day. And then when I'm not wearing makeup, my face still looks fresh and clean.
So two that I want to touch on. I want to
Yeah.
touch on one, you mentioned about what the vagina is supposed to smell like, right? Because some people don't understand what the vagina is supposed to smell like. Like some
Right.
people get a little smell, you know. I don't think people understand the difference between like musky or like, you know, sweaty or like, okay, this is something that I probably should get checked out. So
Right.
can you kind of like help us understand, for those who may not know, like what's a good healthy smell and what's a like bad smell?
Yeah, so that smell you smell from you sitting all day or you working all day and it just smells like sweaty is probably your natural scent. But whenever you are starting to smell like odor, like if it's like some like everybody knows their own natural scent because we have vaginal lubrication every day. Our vagina is constantly cleaning itself every day. There's some type of lubrication coming out or some type of our natural lubrication coming out. Now, this is probably for a different thing that we can talk about. But there's a difference between natural lubrication and discharge. When we talk about discharge, we're talking about something that's unhealthy. So whether it's yellow, it has an odor, it's green, it's thick, it's clumpy, when you have yeast infections or something like that, that's different. Now, I can't really describe a natural vaginal scent because your natural vaginal scent is natural to you. And you and your partner may know what that smells like. But we as women, we know that that ain't right. That's not just how I smell. Like you shouldn't just be able to open your legs and some scent just is like radiating from down there. It's like that's not how it should be. But at the same time, it shouldn't smell like roses or something like that. And I wanted to touch back on something else you said, Rose, when you mentioned people say you should just use water down there and not use any products at all. And some women, if you're healthy enough, that I wouldn't fight with you about that is the best way. I always tell women a detachable shower head is your best friend. You can, for many other reasons in pop culture, but a detachable shower head, you can actually rinse off, detach that shower head and rinse off externally and everything. Because even with products down there, even with feminine products, they shouldn't be entering the vagina. No products should be entering the vagina because that's setting you up for an infection or setting you up for vaginal issues. You only use feminine products for your external vaginal region anyway. But a shower head gives you a chance to, really rinse out down there.
Right.
So that's what I want to say about that.
And
Sorry if I'm getting off track.
no,
These
you're
drugs have
fine.
me very loopy.
You're fine. You're fine. And we're talking about products that can go inside and out, and you know, that's inside and outside the vagina. Now, you
Well,
guys
not
know that.
inside. We don't really want any products to go inside the vagina. That's why I highly discourage douching. Like, even though some women say, well, I only douche after my period every month just to cleanse out after my period. Or some women say, I douche just after sex. It's not a daily thing. But douching is very bad down there. Some women just feel like, oh, well, I'm cleansing it out because the water comes out. But when you douche, you're pushing up really because you're squeezing a lot up there. Yes, some does trickle out, but for the most part, it's a pressure going upward and depending on what you're douching with. Because if you see some of the products, they'll say, some of the big box products, it'll tell you they're using scented chemical scents, not essential oils or natural scents but they're using these chemical scents and you're douching with it and now you wonder why 2 days later you have a yeast infection. And there's just some people you can tell not to douche. And so, but that's one thing, Rose. I tell everybody, if you douching, stop. If you're using tampons, stop. Just get away from those things. Any things that are going internally into the vagina is a problem unless you're inserting some type of suppository to deal specifically with like a yeast infection. Don't insert anything into the vagina.
Right. Wow. Okay. And a lot of people, because I know a lot of girls who wear tampons. Now, I was always told from a really young age, don't wear tampons because it could cause like TSS or something like that. Like I remember, you know, my sister telling me that because she's in medical, and So I never really wore tampons anyway. I'm like, I'll just
Good.
stick to the pads. But a lot of people don't like pads because they kind of feel like they're just sitting in blood,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and to touch on the TS, that's the toxic shock syndrome right quick. Yeah, it's been found that tampons are linked to toxic shock syndrome, which can put you at an increase for pelvic inflammatory disease or PID. But what happens when if you're wearing tampons, which I highly, 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 highly discourage, um, if you're wearing tampons, you have to make sure you're wearing a tampon indicative of what your flow is. Like, and also making sure to change that tampon. Like, don't sleep in tampons overnight. Long usage. I'm sorry, I can't even see the all the comments anymore. But tampons used that are sleeping in them or wearing them too long and using the wrong absorbency puts you at a increased rate of TSS.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use them properly, there's little to no interference with or rate of getting TSS. But what happens is a lot of my clients just come in and they have these very, very heavy bad periods. And they're like, LaQuinta, I have to use a tampon and a pad. I'm just bleeding so much. Or they're using tampons because, like you said, they're like, I don't want to see the blood and sit in it and all of that, things like that. But that tampon use causes severe stagnation. And for the audience out there who doesn't know about stagnation and anything, that's when you see a lot of brown blood during your period because your blood is not basically flowing out in the way that it should. It's kind of just sitting in there stuck to the tampon until you release, and the tampon is absorbing it. But it causes a lot more problems down the road. I'm actually looking into things now and seeing, but we wonder why when we use these tampons for 10, 20 years, and then by the age 30, we have this fibroids, we have endo, we have cysts and things like that. When you're not injecting, but when you're inserting chemicals into your sacred place every month for 5 to 7 days, and for some of my clients 10 to 15 days, so you literally inserting chemicals for 10 days every month. You wonder why after 10 or 15 years you have all these vaginal issues and you have to have a hysterectomy. Like the hysterectomy rates are crazy right now for people in their early 30s or late 20s. And it's because of the use of these tampons and all these things, all these other things. And Dr. KBA mentioned that stagnation and tampon link is true because, some of my clients have come to me and they had this problem with the stagnation. And once we stop this tampon use and get them to steaming, they'll notice like, oh my God, my blood has never been this color. Yeah, because it's always been unhealthy all of those years. Now you're at a healthy blood color. Sorry, I got off top by reading a comment just now. But to circle back to what we were talking about, when it comes to inserting anything into the vagina, I always tell people, no, no, no. If you can do anything, even when it comes to treating yeast infections, like if you can just do something oral or something natural rather than those insertable suppositories, just stick with that because putting anything in our sacred place can be very, very detrimental to our health overall years later. And a lot of people just get to the point where they have no other option but to have a hysterectomy and get rid of their womb space. And so I'm here to let people know there are other options. And so try something that's more natural first.
Now, what about like lubricants and stuff, right? Because there are some women who use like lubricants and things like that during intercourse or whatever. Now, for those are kind of meant to go in and out. I mean, because you got to lube toys or your partner may use. So like, is that something safe to put?
Natural lubricants are the best, but when it comes to lubricants, and I deal with that a lot at her sacred place when it comes to my menopausal clients, because typically they just start to feel dry. They deal with dryness issues. Natural lubricants are the best to use, but when it comes to lubricants, I wouldn't say that it's not good because some people need it. Some people can't have sex without it, but that's the underlying cause of vaginal dryness is a hormonal imbalance. Once your hormones become more balanced, you will notice that your lubrication problem typically goes away unless they're on some type of medication that causes dryness, which they have to use uh, um a lubricant because their medication, no matter what happens, their medication is going to contribute to their dryness. You know, something like that. But if there's nothing going on medical wise while you're experiencing dryness, I always tell people start a steaming regimen before you deal with artificial hormones and things like that, because we have a specific blend also that helps with dryness. Going back to your question, Rose, I do have people, our sacred feminine oil, our sacred yoni oil can be used internally as a personal lubricant. I do tell people if you must use a lubricant, definitely use one. But going back to what I said, I don't have a specific product or brand that I recommend besides my own personal brand. But if you find something that works for you, and it seems like you are um and it seems like you are feeling like, okay, I can have sex longer or have sex more and don't have to deal with the pain from vaginal dryness, I have no qualms about using vaginal lubrication if you need to. However, I do have a qualm about using a lubrication if you don't need to. Like some people just like, well, I want to be wetter. Well, vaginal steam. Because we know vaginal steam makes you much wetter, and then you don't have to use a personal lubricant or anything, but don't kind of put stuff up there when you have no need to put stuff up there.
So you also mentioned like the hormonal imbalance, right?
Mm-hmm.
What causes like those? What would cause hormonal imbalance to make you dry? Like I think for people to even understand how to fix things, they gotta understand, where it kind of starts. So what would you say kind of even offsets that for people?
Well, it can be a myriad of things. It can be a lot of things that causes hormonal imbalances. One of the most popular one is just when, especially since we're discussing vaginal dryness, is going through menopause. You know, when we hit our menopausal stage, our estrogen levels plummet, and things like that. And so that while you're going through the change, um, our hormones just get off balance. That's why HRT, hormone replacement therapy, is great or being utilized during that point in your life to help you deal with going through those hormonal imbalances. Another thing is your medication. Some medications for different illnesses, diseases, viruses, and anything that comes along with that can contribute to throwing off your endocrine system, which I'm going to touch on cycling back to products. But they throw up our endocrine system is what's responsible for regulating our hormones in our body. And some medications or some chemicals and stuff disrupt your endocrine system. And so it throws your hormones all off whack, and it can cause dryness, or some people, for them, it causes them to be too lubricated and they keep infections. They keep BV because they have this overly production of lubrication. So aside from menopause and medications, pregnancy, as most people know, during pregnancy, your hormones are going to change. So during pregnancy, some people realize, oh, I've started getting yeast infections or I've started getting BV as their hormonal imbalance change. And right after pregnancy, after giving birth, our estrogen levels plummet again. And so that happens during that time. But if you're not recently diagnosed with any type of disease, whether it's any type of thing going on, or you're not in menopause or taking certain medications, then typically you shouldn't have a lubrication problem. In a nice, healthy woman, you shouldn't have a lubrication problem, because those are the three main reasons that could contribute to some type of lubrication issue. But you can always buy our oil, or you could come in and see me. Or if you can't come in and see me, I also have an at-home steaming program. And within that program, I can consult with you and set you up for a steaming program at home to help you deal with your vaginal lubrication issue.
And speaking of that, I want you to kind of get into like some of the products and tell us about the products and what products can help with what, because I think when people really understand it, it makes it easier for them to kind of say, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I need, and they can try to decide what will help them best. So could you kind of like go through your products and tell us like what they are best for and like how they could help, like the everyday woman?
Yeah, sure. So I have a couple of our products right here. I'll start off with our Yoni oil. And as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that well, but it has fresh rose petals in it. So this is our sacred yoni oil. This can be used internally and externally. It can be used internally as a vaginal lubricant, which we just spoke about, or it can be or a personal lubricant, or it can be used externally to just help moisturize. Some people moisturize their entire body, which is good for overall skin health. So you can use it externally to moisturize your vaginal region. She also infuses it with rose, and it helps with and it has antifungal and antibacterial um oils in it, and so it helps with any kind of imbalances you have going on down there. When I say use it, it also helps with hyperpigmentation. So you know how sometimes when we shave so long or we've been waxing, we get darker down there. So I tell people use it twice a day. Use it in the morning and use it in the evening to help with um lightening up your skin back to its original color tone, so it can help with that as we get beach ready and bikini ready for the new summer season. We also have our sacred Yoni Wash. And so this is a wash that you can use. And as I said, never use things internally. But this specific wash is formulated. It's an all natural, vegan, sulfate free, and paraben free product that you can use. You don't even have to only use it in your yoni area. Like you were saying when we first came on, Rose, you love the washing. You use it everywhere. I use it everywhere, but that's our sacred yoni wash. And you could use it down there, and it's formulated so that it doesn't throw off your pH or anything down there. And then we have for people who don't really prefer washes, but they prefer soap, because some of us are soap people, some of us are body wash type people. It just depends on a preference. But we have our sacred yoni bar. And so this is just, I don't know if you could see that or not, but these are just all natural ingredients, and it's a soap bar. And as I say, I partnered with a woman out of California to make all of our products. So she hand makes everything all natural, and she's great at what she does. Knows a lot about. As a matter of fact, Rose, you may need to have her on your show. She's in the comments right now, but she knows what she's doing when it comes to skincare and all of that stuff. She's
That'd be
really,
good.
really good.
I'm gonna link.
Yeah, you should link with her. Then this is a foam wash. So this is the big thing that everybody is talking about with Honey Pot, their foam wash, because they became like known for vaginal foam wash. But this is just a foam pump. Now I always tell clients, don't ever put this into a towel or anything, because it's foam, so it's just going to absorb into the towel. Basically, you're just going to put 2 or 3 pumps on your hand and cleanse your external vaginal region, also known as your vulva. And from there, that's how you would use this. I highly recommend this for women who are always on the go and need to freshen up in the middle of the day or go to the gym. Before you leave the gym, take some of our Her Sacred Place feminine wipes, put like 2 or 3 pumps on it, and then cleanse your external region, because you sweat down there for however long your workout was. And from the time you get to the gym to showering, you could already be creating an environment for BV. Because so I always tell my people, if you work out, do this before you get home to shower. Not sure if showers have opened back up at the gym now since COVID and everything is becoming more relaxed, but during COVID, this was a big seller, because it's very, very important to cleanse before you are able to shower instead of sitting in all of that. And then I talked about our, yeah.
With the pump ones, because I actually use that too. I like it. I like how it makes you feel cool.
Yeah, it has aloe in it.
Yes, I like that. But so if you're going to the gym and you're leaving the gym, you want to put a couple pumps onto the wipes, and you just kind of like rub it in and like wipe it down, so you don't have to rinse it.
Not with the foam, and that's why it's a good on-the-go product, because it's just going to dry. It's just going to dry up. So with the foam, whereas with the body wash, you have to rinse and cleanse off and all of that. The foam is going to dry down, and so after you do it, after a couple minutes, it's just going to dry. But now you kind of cleansed yourself before you got home. And so I really urge my clients like that to do that. And you could do it on the go. I have some people who keep it in their purse and like in the middle of a work day, especially my warehouse workers, they'll go and cleanse off because, you know, they've been working and they're sweaty and they're like, okay, let me just freshen up down there. And like you said, it gives that cooling scent. And so they'll do that, then put on one of our panty liners, which has that cooling scent. And that's kind of like a refresh in the middle of the day.
I've been using mine all wrong. I've been using it in
No,
the shower.
I wouldn't say that you're using it wrong. There's no right or wrong reason, but that's a good way to use it if you're not bathing. Definitely use it while you're bathing because most clients love it while they're bathing also. But that's an extra way to use that as an on-the-go product, and that's how we majority of the time market it.
Got you. And a quick question, because people are putting questions. You can't
Oh,
see
good.
it,
I
right?
can't see the comments, so I can't see.
So one of the questions was, can you ask her about women with sensitivity to scents? They might have missed where we talked about not using really too many scents at all. So can you talk about like women with sensitivity and to scents and what can help them, or what's like some of the best options for them, or which of your products could help them?
Sure. When it comes to sensitivity to scents, I'm assuming she's talking about like lavender scents or anything. Now, if you have a specific allergy to a scent, that's different from just saying when I use scented products, I get thrown off, whether that's scented feminine products or some, you know, there's scented toilet tissues out here now. And I'm like, what? I can't use lavender toilet tissue down in my sacred place. But if you know you have a sensitivity, or some people are just hypersensitive down there, they could use little to no products. They're those people we've been talking about, Rose, where they literally have to only use water because anything will throw them off down there. If that is the case, there is a vaginal imbalance going on. If that's the case, if you're using a very, very mild soap in your external region, and you're sure it's not getting in your vagina, because as things get in our vagina, but if you're using something that's very, very mild, or you're using nothing at all, and you're like, oh, I can't use anything, everything throws me off, that's some type of internal vaginal imbalance. And typically these women come to me getting frequent infections, and after a couple of months, I have them all cleared up. But if you know that you're sensitive to something down there, or your sacred place gets thrown off at any point in time due to any little thing, then stay away from scented products. You know, don't use any product. Get products that are unscented, and your best bet is to use all natural. I know going the all natural, cotton-free, 100% organic route is a little bit more pricier than going the non-route, whereas we may have to pay $7 for these menstrual pads. We can pay $2 for these menstrual pads. But if you know it's throwing you off and it's contributing to an imbalance, like it may be worth it to switch to an all-natural brand. I would like to go off topic and say, well, not off topic, but also say that if you notice that something is throwing you off, then switch brands. Even if you don't switch to all natural, like I don't like to throw out brand names, but I'm just going to throw out these for the sake of our discussion in pertaining to her question. Say you are always using Always, which is the biggest brand name when it comes to menstrual products. But every month after your menses goes off, you get this vaginal irritation, you get itchiness, and then it goes away. If you notice that, then you may want to switch to Kotex, which is a similar price point and is not all natural, but switching brands typically helps also, because it may be something that particular brand has in their products that another brand doesn't have. And even if it's not necessarily the fragrance or the scent that is throwing you off, to whoever asked that question, it could be the specific chemical in that product that may be interfering with your system. And so some people who switch brands notice, oh, I don't have that problem anymore. And I'm not saying Always did give you that problem or Kotex doesn't. I'm just saying for the sake of this question, because ain't nobody trying to get sued over here.
Okay. Period. Okay.
Right.
We're not trying to get sued, y'all. We just add
No.
it up. Got
Oh my God, people come for you out the wazoo when you start mentioning brand names.
you. Yes. Okay. Look, and I think and sometimes, right, you got to just take breaks, maybe. Like, you may not have to not use that product at all, but maybe kind of like switch it up and do it for a little bit and then maybe go back to it, because some people like what they like, but you know
Yeah. And then some people, period poverty is a big thing. Period poverty is when people are so poor they can't um I'm not sure if the audience knows, but they literally can't afford menstrual products or things like that. That's why Her Sacred Place likes to do charity work, and we will donate to homeless shelters and donate to schools and donate to things like that, because that's a real thing. And so people go for the cheapest brand. Like, if I only got $2, I have to buy something that's $2 because I can't stop myself from having a period if I'm a woman. I'm going to have it every month, and I can't just walk around bleeding, So some people go for what their pockets um allow them to buy. And so period poverty is a big thing. But if you can afford to go to an all natural organic cotton brand, it's best to switch over. But for those people who can't and still are having problems, just try switching brands to something of a similar price point and see if that helps.
mm. Yeah, we got in the comments, they will use tissue for real.
Yeah, for real. And
Mm.
like, I mean, that's all they have. Like, sometimes it's a real problem, and it's sad to say, but um, they let us get everything else through insurance, and men can get Viagra and stuff off insurance. Like, why we as women can't get period products? But I digress. I'm not going to go into the politics of it all.
Okay, that's a whole nother story.
Right, right,
That's a
right,
whole
right.
nother story. But I'm sorry to have gotten you off track. I just want to make sure that the question had got answered. Um,
No, definitely. And you try to keep me on track because, like I say, this medicine has me loopy. So if I'm going off on a tangent, reel me back in. Reel me back in.
I got you. Now, you left off talking about the soap, the bar soap.
Oh, yeah. So the soap. So if you're more of a soap user rather than a body wash, a lot of the times it's preference. I use both. I actually take my soap and the body wash and mix it all together. And that's how I cleanse my skin and everything like that. But we have the soap, and I was going into the individual wipes, which I like to pair with. I prefer clients to pair with the foam wash when you're washing on the go. If that I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not, but if you're on the go, you can use that. Then we also have
Yeah,
like
but the
bath
wipes have
bombs.
no smell at all.
No, nothing. They're like, there's no nothing in them. It's just literally like a wet wipe. And then finally, we have bath bombs also that are formulated with our sacred detox herbs in them.
Mm.
Um,
So what is
and
that?
so whenever the bath bomb is for women who like to cleanse by taking baths. It also has the herbs in them, so it could double as a spirit bath, or some people like to take herbal bath, like they bathe in herbs and things like that. And so we use this particular blend, our sacred detox blend, just to help cleanse the body, relax. If you want to do your manifestations or give yourself affirmations, it doubles as a nice herbal bath. Now, I don't have any more of these, and I haven't bought them in a long time. But for my clients who have problem skin, like if you deal with eczema or psoriasis, or when I say problem skin, I mean things like that, where your skin is itchy or you have kids with itchy skin, there's also a bath bomb that we would carry sometimes made with our cooling and moisturizing herbs. And those herbs help cool the skin down and help with dry skin conditions. So any woman, typically what I've been having my women do now for their kids who have eczema real bad and things like that and bathe them, is to just buy my raw herbs and pour some of that in the water, and it helps cool down their itchiness or their irritated skin from, especially with the hot heat right now. And so that's something that they can do also as a herbal bath for women or kids, women and or kids with problem skin. And
So you
so those
can
are the
take
items.
herbal baths, because I don't
Huh?
think some people don't know that you can take herbal baths.
Yeah, when you bathe, if you want to pour when you fix your bath water, and always get your bath water as warm as you can stand it so that you're taking a nice warm bath to relax your body. You literally just take a blend of herbs and pour them into your bath water.
Mm.
And while you're and certain herbs, unlock certain things. I'm not really big or well versed into the metaphysical, but certain herbs unlock certain things and it helps you relax better. Like I said, our cooling and moisturizing blend is formulated to help with certain conditions internally vaginal. internal vaginal issues, but we also know that it helps cools down and helps calms irritated skin, just external irritated skin. So
I want
while
some. Right, I gotta come get me some. I
yeah, it does.
do it.
I have a lot of my clients use it on their kids because they're just scratching and scratching up their skin, my eczema kids. And so they'll tend to use that specific blend to help cool their body down and then they'll moisturize. We used to carry a moisturizer also, but we don't carry that anymore. I think Vicky in Shop Ice Body, who's still in the comments, still carries that blend, but I'm unsure. They can reach out to her if she needs to. I mean, if they need to, but they can definitely use our herbs to help. They can definitely use our herbs to help with their problem skin or anything
She
like
said
that.
I
But I
use
think
those.
herbal baths, Rose, you know, I like I said, I'm not deep into the metaphysical, but around the full moon, I will take my bath and manifest some things into my life.
I need to get me some. So Shop Ice Body said I use those and they help me so much since I'm in menopause. That's good to know.
Yeah, because that's the same herbal blend when we were talking earlier about balancing hormones to get rid of vaginal dryness. That same herbal blend that helps with problem skin is the same blend we use on our menopausal clients because it helps them go through transition through menopause without all those menopausal symptoms. So they
Mm.
realize, okay, I'm not dealing with all of these hot flashes anymore. I'm not dealing with all of these night sweats and things like that. That particular blend is a great formulation.
Is that
Shout out to my
for
herbalist.
menopause people? Like if you're not going through menopause, can you still use it or should you not?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because it's not that you shouldn't use it, but I like to. That's why I have a consultation with every single client that comes into her sacred place because it's not that you shouldn't use it, but I don't like to use herbs on somebody who don't need that specific blend, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
like if you know you're dealing with dryness, you know you're dealing with problem skin or something like that, I would say, okay, Rose, I'm going to use this on you. But if you have no need for that blend, let's use something that is conducive to your needs. And then some clients come in and they don't have anything going on at all. And so I have an overall, basically a catch-all blend for clients who come in with no problems at all. But I do not like people to use something that they just feel like, oh, well, this, she says this blend really increases lubrication. Let me use this because like I say, on the flip side, you can overproduce too much lubrication and lead to chronic BV. So don't give yourself a problem by trying to use products because somebody else say they use those products, because I see that a lot in the feminine hygiene space also. Like, girl, I heard about these Yoni something and they do this for me and my man can't get enough, and then this person goes uses it and it throws her off balance or gives her all kind of problems because that person may have needed to use that for her man and this person didn't. And
Right.
so like I cycle back around again, like if something works for you, use what works for you, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like don't cause a problem trying to do something or use something that you really don't even need. You sometimes, sis, you're good down there. Like you don't need help.
Mm. Somebody said I need those herbs for the manifesting.
Yeah, definitely. And you can shop on our website. If you have any questions about what specific herbs or what specific blend that you need to use, you can definitely set up a consultation with me. You could text or call me at 803-997-0841. Again, that's 803-997-0841. Kendra may put that in the text. Kendra is also
Going
a
hard in the text.
good thing, Kendra.
Yeah.
She's my business partner and everything, so she's kind of probably keeping up with the comments since
Yeah.
I can't really see them. But you can order offline. Thank you, Kendra. I just saw the comment pop up. Okay, so you can order offline at hersacredplace.com. Call me for a consultation if you're not sure. I don't know what needs to help, what needs to go on with me, LaQuinta, but what do you have that could help? And there are some people that I can't help. I'm not saying that I can help everyone, but for the people that you need some herbs, you can order off our website and we directly ship to you. Within 2 to 3 business days, your order will be fulfilled.
Now I had a question, because somebody had told me to ask this and I almost forgot.
What's
Um,
it?
far as like drinking enough water. So if you don't drink enough water, can that also kind of make you, I guess, dry? Like, is that part of like being dehydrated or something?
Not drinking enough water and can lead to vaginal dryness and vaginal odor also.
Mm.
So if your body isn't lubricated enough, if you're already dehydrated, of course your kidneys are working in overtime, but that can lead to severe vaginal dryness. I
Mm.
know some people love sodas and things like that, but that's not hydrating your body. Water is our best friend. And one of the first things I ask every single one of my clients who come in with vaginal odor is how much water do you drink? And about 95% of them don't drink water. It
Wow.
causes vaginal odor. So you have to flush your system out every day. You have to drink just pure water, not flavored water, not water with some, just drink natural water and everything to flush your system out. So for those of you out there who deal with vaginal odor, cut back on the sodas and juices and start drinking water, and you'll see that your odor will decrease. But definitely a dehydrated body can't produce lubricant. Like, we're dehydrated, and so not having enough water or taking medications and things that cause dehydration can lead to vaginal dryness. That's a good
Good
question because I
question.
didn't touch on that at all, but that's good.
Nice, nice, nice. I like that. Okay. And then back to the products. I'm sorry. I start asking you questions and then we get a little off.
I
But
love it. I love it. Like I said, if I'm getting a little off, reel me back in, reel me back in. But that's our product line for the most part, right? Right now we have soap, oil, washes, and bath bombs. If I'm missing anything, Kendra, just mention it to me.
Kendra said, drink that water, ladies. It also makes your steaming sessions better.
Yeah, because during the steaming session, you should be well hydrated because your body is going to heat up, as you know, your entire body is going to heat up. And so I can tell when women aren't hydrated because they're just hot. They're in the steaming room like it's so hot, and not a lick of sweat is coming.
Mm.
Like, they're really hot and there's no sweat. It's like you're so dry, but you're hot. That
Mm.
means you're not hydrated enough. If I go into the steaming room and that particular woman is pouring down in sweat, I'm like, "Ooh, girl, you drink a lot of water. You're really hydrated." I can just tell by how you react to the steaming session about, oh, I see now the Yoni spray. I can tell how you react to the steaming session or whether you are hydrated enough. Because if you are hydrated, you will sweat. It shouldn't be
Okay.
uncomfortable, but as you know, Rose, and you probably can attest to
I'm
this, it
always
can get warm. It can get
great.
warm though.
Yeah. I feel great. Turn me up.
I know that's how most clients like, LaQuinta, I can take some more. LaQuinta, I can take some more. Turn me up, girl. Let me get this nice steam. I'm like, I sure will, but let me know if you get too warm because we ain't trying to burn nobody.
I want to be
But
burned.
Kendra mentioned our Yoni spray, and I may have some over there, but I'm not sure if I forgot to put that out. But we also carry a Yoni spray also for your vaginal region. This is a new product of ours that Her Sacred Place has just introduced about 3, maybe 4 months ago, something like that. And it's formulated as a spray for the hot months. So you can basically just spray it directly on your external vaginal area. But that's how most clients use it. But I spray it in the seat of my panties. Um,
So like
and so,
that middle
yeah,
section.
that middle section with the double layer to help with our lubrication. So I spray it directly in the seat of my panties, like 2 or 3 pumps, and it keeps you fresh all day. For like, I was talking earlier about my warehouse workers and things like that who deal with, maybe they're walking all day, or my office workers who are literally sitting all day. And by the end of the day or anything like that, you may feel like, ooh, I'm sweaty down there, but you put a few pumps of that spray, you will stay dry and fresh, externally dry, not internally dry,
Right.
but externally dry and fresh all day. It's
Now,
really, really good stuff.
so it doesn't have like a scent, so it won't disrupt. Because I want to make sure we answer this for some people that may be thinking this. It won't disrupt like the pH or anything by us spraying that down there and using that.
It's unscented. The most feeling you would get from it is she also has aloe in it, so it's an unscented spray. I wish I had. I think I have some right here in my bag, in my little hygiene bag.